Picture this: a country so vast that you could fit Germany, France, and Spain inside it, all three at once, and it would still be almost entirely empty. No, this isn't the plot of some post-apocalyptic movie. This is Mongolia, the 19th largest country in the world, and at the same time, the least densely populated. Statistically, that means a staggering 99.7% of its land is practically uninhabited. But how is that even possible? How can a nation so huge have fewer people than many individual cities? The answer is a fascinating story about humanity versus nature, about the ghosts of history that still shape the present, and about one of the last true wildernesses on Earth. In this video, we'll solve the mystery of Mongolia's breathtaking emptiness. The problem in numbers. What does empty really mean? To grasp the scale, let's look at the numbers. Mongolia covers over 600,000 square miles, and across that vast expanse live only about 3.5 million people. That gives us a population density of around 2 people per square kilometer. For comparison, Japan has 338, and the United Kingdom has over 280 people per square kilometer. Mongolia, in fact, has fewer people than the city of Berlin, but a land area nearly the size of all of Western Europe combined. In Mongolia, you can drive for hours and hours without seeing another soul. But the wildest part isn't just how few people there are, it's how they're distributed. Nearly half of Mongolia's entire population, about 1.7 million people, live in one single city, the capital, Ulaanbaatar. That means the rest of the population is scattered across a territory larger than Western Europe. Imagine it like this, as if everyone in Los Angeles lived downtown, and the rest of California was a ghost land. So when we say 99.7% of Mongolia is empty, that's exactly what we mean. The overwhelming majority of the country has no permanent settlements at all, a true kingdom of nature where humans are just occasional visitors. But what forces pushed people into such a small corner? The first and most obvious culprit is the land itself. First culprit: extreme geography and harsh climate. Mongolia is a land of extremes, geographically trapped and climatically unforgiving. Its location is the first major challenge. It sits deep in the heart of Asia, wedged between Russia and China. Crucially, Mongolia is one of the most landlocked nations on Earth, with the nearest ocean more than 370 miles away. That means moist ocean winds that bring rainfall never reach it. And that's just the beginning. The entire country lies on a high plateau, averaging over 5,000 feet above sea level. This plateau is ringed by massive mountain ranges that act like walls, blocking out what little moisture might try to get in. The result? A brutal, hypercontinental climate. Winters are long and unimaginably cold, lasting from October to April, with temperatures in some regions dropping as low as -35 degrees Fahrenheit. For much of the year, the soil is frozen solid, permafrost, making serious farming nearly impossible. Summers, meanwhile, are short, hot, and dry. Most of the country gets less rainfall than some of the world's driest deserts. Speaking of deserts, southern Mongolia is dominated by the enormous Gobi Desert. And it's not a sea of golden sand. It's mostly stone and barren earth, covering nearly a third of the country. Geography and climate together conspired against human settlement. Mountains that block the rain, deserts that prevent growth, and in between, a frozen plateau. Surviving here has never been easy. But climate isn't the only explanation. To understand Mongolia's emptiness, we also need to dive into its history and culture. Second culprit: history, nomads, and the spirit of empire. For thousands of years, the heart of Mongolian culture didn't beat in cities, but in the open steppe. This nation's identity wasn't tied to villages, it was tied to the horizon. Life revolved around herding animals: sheep, goats, cattle, camels, and of course, horses. This lifestyle, pastoral nomadism, demands vast open space. Families moved with the seasons, following pastures. In such a system, dense settlements aren't just unnecessary, they're harmful because they exhaust resources too quickly. No wonder Mongolia still has more horses than people. The horse here isn't just an animal, it's a symbol of freedom, a lifeline, and a living legacy that goes back to the greatest Mongol of all, Genghis Khan. In the 13th century, Genghis Khan united the nomadic tribes and forged the largest land empire in history. But this empire wasn't built on cities, it was built on horseback. A nation of nomads, able to cover enormous distances at speed. Ironically, the empire's success only reinforced the nomadic mindset. Why build cities when the whole world could be your pasture? After the empire fell apart, Mongolia endured centuries of instability, invasions, wars, and devastating plagues. Its population was decimated again and again, and it never fully recovered demographically. There was also a unique cultural factor, the influence of Tibetan Buddhism. By the 16th century, Buddhism had become Mongolia's dominant religion. It was tradition for every family to send at least one son to the monastery. At times, monks made up a huge portion of the male population. And since monks lived in celibacy, this custom inevitably lowered birth rates over the centuries. The result of all this, nomadic life, historical disasters, and religious tradition, was a demographic perfect storm. Solving the mystery, modern reality, and the magnet of Ulaanbaatar. So all of this explains why Mongolia was empty throughout history. But why is it still so empty today? The answer lies in modern reality and the phenomenon of Ulaanbaatar. In the 20th century, under Soviet influence, Mongolia was pushed into rapid modernization. The center of this transformation was the capital city. Ulaanbaatar, whose name means Red Hero, became the political, economic, and cultural heart of the nation. After the democratic transition of the 1990s, the city's pull grew even stronger. While life in the steppe remains difficult, the capital offers education, jobs, and a modern lifestyle. Younger generations are increasingly leaving the nomadic life behind in search of better opportunities. The result has been mass migration from rural Mongolia into the capital. Today, Ulaanbaatar acts like a demographic vacuum, sucking in people from the vast countryside. And that brings us to the final answer. Mongolia isn't empty because there are no people. It's empty because nearly all of them are concentrated in one place. The 0.3% of land that isn't empty? That's Ulaanbaatar, and a handful of smaller towns. The other 99.7% is left to tradition, nature, and silence. Mongolia's emptiness is really the story of two nations in one modern and urban, the other ancient and boundless. The mystery of Mongolia's emptiness isn't solved with a single explanation. It's a puzzle made of harsh geography, unforgiving climate, the legacy of a nomadic empire, and modern urban migration all pulling toward one center. Mongolia stands as a powerful reminder that, despite all our technology, there are still places on Earth where nature sets the rules. A land where the horizon has no end, where silence speaks louder than words, and where you can still feel the spirit of Genghis Khan galloping across the windswept steppe. If you enjoyed uncovering the secrets of Mongolia, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment and let us know what fascinates you most about this country. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.